What is going on, my people of this Move the Chains podcast? I know I'm posting this a lot later tonight than I usually do, but we're in this crazy, fucked up thing called life. But I had to get on tonight, talk to you guys about that wacky, crazy, pinball-like kind of game last night. Browns in Denver last night. Broncos, Jackson, my brother. Congrats, you guys got a crazy win. You're 8-5. I hate throwing shit on the Denver. I usually do, but I can't today. I got to be happy for them. Listen, I'm a Raider fan. I hate Denver as much as anybody, but I got to give credit where credit's due. They're a really good football team, and I'll get to them in a second. But last night, God, what an atmosphere. What a vibe that was in Mile High last night. Just incredible. And a lot of interesting nuggets last night, how the Browns handled the altitude and all that. But I wanted to start off with the Browns. Browns fans, I feel for you. Tough loss last night. Very tough loss. You guys played your hearts out last night. Your defense picked off Bo Nix a couple times. Jerry Jeudy went for 235. Holy shit, he went Rambo. And you still lost. Jameis threw almost 500 yards, 5 football fields, and still didn't get it done. And listen, I know Jameis is, I've said he's Eli Manning. He's a little Favre. He's got some zest on life. I love it. But I don't know. Because I saw the whole experience last night. And Jerry Jeudy went Rambo against the Denver, his former team that cut him, drafted him in that 19 draft, going into 2020. But I must say with the Browns, they're the best 3-9 team in football. I mean, they play their ass off. I think kind of like the Raiders a little bit. Had you played Jameis earlier, would this team be a playoff team? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I'm looking at it going, well, this roster is talented. Now, I think there's some things that I think contribute to this, why they're kind of bad this year. Number one, they let Bill Callahan go. And you should have never let him out the door. This offensive line, listen, it's not as bad as it is, because they have that guy's in and out, and I get it. But it's not what it was last year. And this offensive line, for a few years, when he was in Cleveland with Billy Callahan, they had something there. You know, you put a lot of money into it. You put the Joe Bitonio. You got the guard play. J.C. Treader. You had all these guys, and it's still a decent unit. And they did give Jameis some time last night. I mean, Jameis, I don't think got sacked at all from the box score that I read, and I watched most of it. I was getting home from the gym, and I was kind of keeping track of it. My brother was in the living room. He's going crazy because he got his Broncos stuff on. So a lot of stuff was going on. But Jameis, it's like a roller coaster ride with him. Now, can they win? Can they move with him going forward? I think you have to entertain it. I know you signed Deshaun, and I know the cap hit is huge. But we're seeing in Denver right now, I'm going to get to them in a second, they're eating all this Russell Wilson cap, and they're doing just fine. So, again, would I fire Stefanski? Absolutely not. He's won Coach of the Year twice, gotten you the playoffs, been, trying to think, 1-2? I mean, come on, that's decent enough. And he's obviously a really smart guy. Him and Andrew Berry have got this Browns team going. They draft players. I mean, I'm looking at Cleveland's roster. I'm looking up at it going, I mean, what's there to miss? Besides the quarterback, I'm sitting there going, wow. They almost seem like a Tom Brady cleanse because, like Tampa before Tom got there, they were kind of like where the Browns are. Now, Cleveland's just been more historically bad than Tampa, but I'm seeing the same similarities because Tampa, was kind of like Cleveland, where they got all the pieces, they got the defense, not as good as it was last year, but they have guys on defense. Myles Garrett, who's an absolute stud. You got Denzel Ward. I thought DJ Ward feels like a DJ. Denzel Ward. You have guys on the back end. This defense is really good. And again, I got exposed last night. I get it. A couple big chunks, but that was fine. That'll happen. With obviously the safety split, if you guys watch the replay. But I think Cleveland, now again, I don't trust the ownership for shit. I can't. But if they keep Jameis, I don't know if it changes anything. But For the time being, it's a wild, fun ride to ride. Man, woo! Ride that roller coaster, boy. Woo! Hell yeah, brother. MAGA, make America great. Woo! But, in all honesty, though, Cleveland's got to go get a quarterback. Now, knowing their history, they fucked this up. They had Baker, and, Baker just wasn't ready for it. I get it. But I kind of think back last night and go, had Baker been in Cleveland right now, would they be where they are? Probably not. Now, I get at the time, Baker needed to go, and I get it. It was time. But, man, it looks bad right now. And they need Baker. They need a guy like Baker. And what I love about Jameis is he's got a big arm. And Deshaun does not. And I said this last night. You got to have a big arm in these cold weather cities, man. Cleveland, Chicago, Green Bay, New York, both Jets and Giants. You got to have it in Philly. You got to have it in Washington. You got to have a big arm. And I'm watching last night. And Jameis, he drives you crazy because it's almost like Eli Manning. It's like the Savannah Bananas. They're doing like the, Harlem Globetrotters, and they're dancing all shake it off, Taylor Swift shit. But you get my point. Like, it feels like that, and Brett Favre a little bit. And Cleveland just in a weird spot because I like a lot of their stuff in Cleveland. I love their roster. I love Stefanski. They've got a lot of things going, but it's ownership. And it, you know what it reminded me of? I know last week after the Charger-Ravens game, I compared the Ravens to the Lions of the AFC. Just never won a Super Bowl. I get it. But I'm starting to feel like the Bears and the Browns are the same way. And I mean this in this respect. They're both story franchises. Both have never got the quarterback right. There's always been a lot of dysfunction within the front office. We don't really trust the GM. Now, I do in Cleveland more so than I do in Chicago. So, I just feel like Cleveland, they're like in this rudderless rut. Like, they're in dead man's land right now. Because this roster's good enough to go to a playoffs. They are. But I think they need like a Brady cleanse or something to get them out of this rut, because I'm seeing the potential that is Cleveland. They went to the playoffs this year with Joe Flacco, who was off the couch. He was driving his kids. Beep, beep, beep. Cool Joe Dad on the road. Woo, woo, So it's a shame that Cleveland, and they got so much good players. Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett and Joel Bitonio, a lot of good players. And it's kind of being wasted by this shitty quarterback position. So, thank you for the Browns for giving us an entertaining game last night. And I'm looking forward to next year already if I'm a Browns fan. Because I don't know what you do. You're almost pulling your hair out because if you had Jameis all year, yeah, I've been weird like this, but at least you get the highs and the highs. You get the down-the-field passing, which they have the weapons to do it. And Njoku looked alive last night, and Chubb looks good again. So it's a sad situation because I feel like they're in dead man's land despite the talent, and I feel like they need a Brady cleanse to kind of get it. So I wanted to flip over to Denver last night. And listen, I'm going to give my brother Jackson some kudos. His team's really good. His team's a very good football team. And I got to applaud Denver because they finally took the Brinks truck and gave it to Sean Payton and said, Sean, this is your baby. You cook what you want. And he had Russell. He got handed it to him. Those personalities, they like fire and water, baby. They did not match. And Sean, listen, I've been critical of Sean Payton a little bit. Mainly because some of the shit he said. Now, some of the shit he says isn't wrong, but I just feel like self-awareness, you kind of got to have a feel. But he's confident, and he's got some little arrogance to him. That's fine. We're guys. We got egos. Buff chest out. Chest day, okay? Monday's International Chest Day, but, I'm a gym guy. So, I do believe this in this sense. I am loving what I'm seeing out of Denver in terms of what they're doing for Bo Nix. They slowly but surely, hey, game manager early on. Okay, fine. Now put more on his plate. Progressions, reads, checks, point the mic, all that stuff. And you're seeing the fruition of this labor last night. It continues to get better. Now, can he continue this in a 5-year career? I'm not sure. But in the moment right now, if I had to, what Denver has, like the Raiders, then I might be in a better spot. But at saying so, I'm glad that they're a story franchise. I've always heard this. I think they're like the Steelers of the mountain, like with the mountain range. Because they've always, think about it, they've won Super Bowls and they've won big when they've had great Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Big Ben, Terry Bradshaw for the Steelers, John Elway, Peyton Manning with the Broncos. And they've always been well run, and the Bowens and all that for most of my life before he passed away a couple years ago, RIP. So I'm looking at this Denver team, and they're a good team. And again, I'm not going to take anything away from what they've been doing because, listen, they beat them out of the bad teams. They're a good team, and they're supposed to beat the good teams. They're supposed to be good. Something the Raiders have never done for as long as I've watched. But that's besides the point. But I'm watching Denver right now. Now they're 8-5, and I told my dad tonight, I'm like, yeah, they could make the playoffs. And Dad's like, yeah, they could, fall. I agree with you. They're on a bye week this week. That's a good thing. But I will say this right now, to me, I got to see where Denver plays in the playoffs. Because in this standpoint, if they have to go to Buffalo, that's an L for me. Too much, too soon, you're away, I get it. But even if you make the playoffs with this team, I'm still going to applaud Sean Payton because he's taken this roster. It's very thin. Now, they got good players. I'm not disputing that. Their defense has been playing a lot better outside of last night, which, okay, fluke game, whatever. But I'll say this with Denver. They have a lot of components on defense I like. Pat Surtain's the best corner in football. I know Sauce Gardner got that label, but it may be, I don't know, on a given Sunday. But I watched Pat Surtain. He locked down Devontae a couple years ago when we played him. I mean, he's a freak, man. And even Champ Bailey's like giving him flowers, and that's a high praise. Because Champ Bailey's a Hall of Famer, one of the best corners I've ever seen in my lifetime in that list. Now, he got beat, a bunch of times near the end of his career. But he's still a great player. I will say, though, in this regard to Denver, is that they have weapons. I think they need another year, maybe just to amp it up in terms of getting some more skill. I like Sutton. I like Mims as a slot guy. And their tight ends aren't bad. And the line's getting better. Bulls just got to stop holding, dude. Jesus Christ. God help us. God help us. He holds a lot. But maybe that's just part of his DNA. I don't know. It's been a running trend since it's been in the league since 2017 out of Utah. So, again, they're going to get this line fixed. I think they got a lot of pieces that I like in Denver. And I do think playoffs. Because I was thinking about this driving home tonight from the gym. And I'm thinking in my head going, okay, Denver makes the playoffs. Okay, Miami's not getting in. Cincinnati's not getting in. Because they dug themselves too far of a hole. So I'm thinking, okay. So you got Chargers in there. You got Ravens in there. I'm going to throw Denver in there. And I hate saying that as a Raider fan. It just kills me. But just for the sake of this year, I'm going to go with Denver. Because I'm kind of pulling for my brother to have a moment. Because Denver, it's been a minute since you made the playoffs. Evan Jensen, I'm talking to you, my buddy. I've known him for a long time. One of the biggest Bronco fans, besides my brother, that I know. So, again, just to recap, I think Cleveland's just got a lot of issues. They need a Tom Brady cleanse to get this thing going. And they're kind of in no man's land when it comes to quarterback. Denver, playoffs, I think, get a game, but then next year you reboot and you get this thing back on the tracks because I believe whatever Sean Payton's doing with Bo Nix is working, and it just comes to show you, get an offensive coach. These defensive coaches, unless you can have one, that's fine. But these quarterbacks that go to these defensive coaches does not work. I've seen it lately I've seen it. So, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, all these guys had defensive coaches. How's that working? It's not working out. Now, Jaden Daniels is balling, but he's kind of regressed a little bit. So, that's all I wanted to say. So, hope you guys are doing well on this terrific Tuesday. Stay tuned throughout the week. I got a lot of things coming up. Hit the like, subscribe, share button. Stay tuned throughout the week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night.